Listen, I'm not here to overreact, okay? There's just a couple of things we need to talk about that over the course of the last couple of games have been accumulating my annoyance level.
Run it back, Philly. No frauds, no fanboys, no intros.
Run it back, Nation. What is good? Sixers sickos. What is good? Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn your notification bell on. This video is brought to you by HelloFresh. Go to HelloFresh.com/runitback free to get free breakfast for life. One free breakfast item per box per order at HelloFresh.com/runitback free. Use the promo code runitback free. Before we get into that, a couple of fun Tyrese Maxey stats. Tyrese Maxey over his last 5 games, 29.6 points per game, 5.6 assists per game, 3 rebounds per game, 48, 38, 88 splits. Why is nobody talking about this? One could argue that Tyrese Halliburton is taking away the attention, at least in the Eastern Conference. That's probably true. Shout out to Tyrese Halliburton, absolutely balling out of his mind. Tyrese. The Tyrese and Tyrese takeover. Man, imagine if they were on the same team. All right, we're not going to go there. But Tyrese Maxey is absolutely balling. He's playing the perfect role right now as the team's leading point guard and number 2 scorer on the squad, and he's being insanely efficient. 115-109, the Sixers need a dagger to put it away. Did you really think Tyrese Maxey was going to miss this shot? Good night. Speaking of being clutch, most points in fourth quarter this season. Wow. De'Aaron Fox and LeBron James, 152. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 159. Tyrese Maxey leads the NBA in fourth quarter points right now, 161. Part of it is he doesn't really do anything in the first quarter. He kind of warms up in the second quarter, and the second half is when he really goes off, and he's averaging 27 points per game. So that would, the fourth quarter is a lot of his scoring, and it's nice because, Joel Embiid gets out to a hot start, and he's really just feeding Joel the first half, and Joel takes breaks middle of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter. It's Maxey season, and he has just been absolutely cooking with Embiid on the bench as soon as we started fourth quarter. Last night, he did it again. Tyrese Maxey's last 2 games, 57 points, 14 assists, 0 turnovers. It's ridiculous. I think you might see Tyrese Maxey's first All-Star season incoming. Nick Nurse says he is concerned about Embiid's knee. He talked to Simon Rice, who said they'll evaluate it overnight and into the next couple of days. Simon Rice is the Sixers vice president of athlete care, for those who don't know. Nick Nurse says he is concerned about Embiid's knee. Then why'd you bring him back in the game? After he sprained his knee, why'd you twist his knee? Why'd you bring him back in the game? Now you're concerned about it. Embiid is not concerned about his knee.
How's your knee feeling right now? What happened on the play and shortly after there when it seemed like you were favoring it a little bit?
I'm not sure. I gotta watch the play, but I just twisted it. So we're gonna talk about it and see how it feels. But I don't know. I should be fine.
I should be fine, says Joel Embiid. Joel limping off the court does not, make me feel too good about it. And here's the play. He just drives on Capella, leans in. Some people will say that he plays too much like a guard, and that's why he gets hurt a lot. This is a very aggressive drive. Tries to kind of plan himself. And, yeah, just falls down and holds his knee, man. He came back in the game and played fine and, hit the clutch turnaround fade to put the Sixers up 113-109, and then Maxey hit the 3, so he was part of the final, closing sequence. We'll see what happens. Now, I just want someone to explain to me what is going on with Robert Covington, Jaden Springer, and Nick Nurse. I just need somebody to explain it to me. Maybe Nick Nurse can explain it to me. Maybe he'll pop up in the comments. Maybe I can get RB to ask Nick Nurse on the Paul Reed podcast. Maybe he can ask Paul Reed what's going on. I need an explanation because it's not making sense. It's just not making sense. Obviously, I love Nick Nurse over Doc Rivers, but what are we, 20 games into the season? I'm starting to say, what is this thing that's going on? You see, the past couple of games, the Sixers have been struggling defensively. Okay? The Washington Wizards game, after 4 days off, after, Batum and Embiid and Maxey had like 7 days off, whatever it was, Oubre had like a month off. I was like, that's a rust game. That's fine, whatever. But their defense in that game was atrocious, and they went to a shootout with the lowly, pathetic Washington Wizards, and Robert Covington played 4 minutes in that game. 4 minutes. Probably the best perimeter defender on your team played 4 minutes. Now, you go into the Atlanta Hawks game, same story in the first half, especially that second quarter. They gave up 45 points in the second quarter. They got outscored 45-27. Bogdanovich hit 3 threes in a row. DeAndre Hunter was going nuts. DeJounte Murray was getting in the lane at will. There was a perimeter defensive issue with the Atlanta Hawks game last night. Robert Covington played 0 minutes. 0 minutes. Robert Covington, DNP, coach's decision. Now, if you really want to know why this annoys me so much, last week, Friday, December 1st, the Philadelphia 76ers took on the Boston Celtics without Oubre, without Maxey, without Embiid, without Batum. And they put up a fight, and they went down to the wire. And Robert Covington was one of the main reasons for that. He had 18 points off the bench in 30 minutes. He was 4 for 9. He shot 50% from 3. And he had 5 steals. 5 steals. Most of them on Jason Tatum, who he frustrated to the point where Tatum tried to kick him in the nuts and got ejected from the game. Robert Covington's impact on that game was massive. And I was saying, Covington has been such an incredible addition to this team since the Harden trade. And then the next 2 games, he plays a total of 4 minutes, and the Sixers struggle with perimeter defense. I need someone to explain it to me. Now, I'm not advocating for heavy Jaden Springer minutes by any means, but he's gotten some play this season, and he's had games where he looked, in the beginning of the season, he looked a little timid and not ready, and then he had a stretch of games where he looked like his offense was really getting there, and his defense has always been there. His perimeter defense has always been there. The last time Jaden Springer played meaningful minutes was on November 19th against the Brooklyn Nets, where he played 20 minutes. He had 10 points. He was 2 for 4 from 3, 5 rebounds, and had some really clutch perimeter defense, especially late in the game. And we held the Brooklyn Nets to 99 points in that game. The game before that, Jaden Springer had 22 minutes. He had 8 points off the bench, 2 assists, 3 rebounds, a steal, and he locked up Trae Young. That was a game where we convincingly beat the Atlanta Hawks. Last night, we did not so convincingly beat the Atlanta Hawks because of our perimeter defense. The Atlanta Hawks game before, on November 17th, we convincingly beat the Atlanta Hawks, and Jaden Springer held Trae Young to 5 for 14 and locked him up in the fourth quarter. Actually, while I was recording segments for this video, a tweet popped up from Austin Krell that says Jaden Springer has been assigned to the Delaware Bluecoats. He will be available for tonight's game against the Greensboro Swarm. What happened? The guy, he had NBA minutes, he was contributing, and now he's in the damn G League. I can't keep up. Now, Marcus Morris Sr. was not really part of the rotation in those early games in November. He only became part of the rotation really in the Minnesota Timberwolves game, where we got absolutely smoked without Embiid when he started Morris Sr. and Batum at the 4 and the 5. Then Morris Sr. had a good game off the bench where he dropped 16 against the Los Angeles Lakers. This might be the game where he won over Nick Nurse because we blew out the Lakers 138-194. Then Nick Nurse goes absolutely crazy with his Marcus Morris Sr. love and starts him at center against Zion Williamson, and we get smoked by the Pelicans. And really, Marcus Morris Sr. has been in that rotation since then, and it seems like Robert Covington and Jaden Springer have completely lost their rotation minutes. I'm just not understanding when you're struggling with perimeter defense, you're playing a guy who can't really defend anybody on the perimeter at this stage of his career and leaving 2 guys on the bench who are legitimately known for their perimeter defense. It's annoying me. I'm getting annoyed. We'll see what happens coming up, man. Give me your thoughts in the comments.